Hi, I'm Jeffrey Saunders, and for those of you who are watching off my business page that don't know me, I am a healing medium. And just briefly, a bit about myself before we get started on this testimonial. I actually had a death experience 3 years ago, coming back to my body, being given a rare gift with being able to see the energy that's always around us, that is invisible to the human eye, and coming back to my body, I've been gifted to see it. So I've been working with light beings for the last year and a half now, and they've been designing and helping me to design courses and healing sessions that have been instantly changing people's lives doing these sessions with me. And I have on a beautiful new friend here now, Carol, who did take one of my sessions, Spirit's Transformational Healing Session, and today she's going to share a bit about her experience with her session. So welcome and thank you for coming on today, Carol. So, you know, first, before we get started, I wanted to thank you for coming on, because even before us talking, this is very hard for people to come on and share a bit about their life and their story. To just share openly and publicly, but it is from the experience that you've been through or that you went through with me, and then seeing the changes within yourself, you know, we end up feeling compelled to give back to those to hear through your transformation with what you've been through. So if you want to share a bit about what you were like before we had the session, the issues or the challenges and situations you were in before our session.
Yeah, so it's been interesting, like hearing the other testimonials, because it's a lot of people talk about growing up with depression. And me being one of those people, when I was growing up, for me, I knew no one with depression and no one really knew about it. So it's kind of interesting that now it's coming to light and people are trying to heal from it, as we are learning that like we are not our feelings and emotions. So a lot of the time growing up, I was quite depressed and just not able to deal with it, constantly wondering why this is happening to me. And it was just really hard. So trying to figure out, okay, where is this coming from? Because I always felt like deep down, like this is not me. Um, so I later learned that like it's all my situations, all my experiences. So I went on a healing journey of looking inward and trying to heal myself inside. So I took a lot of courses in mindset therapy and learning Reiki and becoming a Reiki master, and being part of group meditations, healing women's circles. And it was all great and dandy, and I felt alive and just like felt like I was healing, and it was really great. And I don't know if it was because of the pandemic or just where we're at now in the world and where the energy is at, but I was feeling like I was being brought down and brought back to my previous state, which I didn't want. No one wants to go back to that, especially when you've seen the light and you've seen how good things can be.
Yeah.
So when you posted about this session and it was a contest, and I was like, oh, if something for me to heal that's free, which is amazing, because usually you, and understandably so, you have to put in the money to be able to receive the healing, because it is a gift, and you need to know that the person receiving the gift is actually appreciative of it. So the fact that it was free was just like, whoa, this is like amazing. I think I need to jump on this train. And even reading, like doing the videos and doing the testimonials, like that made me really nervous, but something inside of me was like, no, like just put your name down, see what happens, and if you win, then you need to follow through and you have to do it, because like you said, it could reach somebody and it could help somebody, and that's something I've always wanted to do. So I think it's really great that we have this opportunity to share that.
Yeah, and that's anytime we do things that make us feel uncomfortable, that means that there's growth that needs to happen here, right? You coming on today is a big thing for you, right? To come on and share publicly like this, but within yourself, you knew to take this opportunity or chance because it's going to help you grow. Doing this today is going to help you grow, building confidence with us, with doing it. And, you know, I've shared a ton about my suicide attempts and my depression and anxiety, And, you know, through the beings that I work with, they instantly healed me in just one experience that I went through. And it's what I put through in this experience that you went through Spirit's Transformational Healing session, in this one session. And what I do for people that are watching, what I do is I'm gifted to see the layers of energy that people have attached to them. And then also through their experiences, we talk briefly beforehand, before I connect and I allow the light to work through them. It's bringing up some of their experiences in life to the surface. And then when we talk about it before we do the actual healing session, the light will come through me. I will connect to the highest frequency of energy. It will come through me, and that light will actually heal the energy of, basically, it's like it's attached to your cells. It's attached to your DNA because of the past experiences of things that we went through in our lives, that carrying forward, we suffer with depression and anxiety like you were dealing with. And it's allowing that energy to then go through and do its magic on healing. Healing that energy that was attached to our cells per se, and then the removal of it by healing the past experiences with the light. So if you want to share about your experience of what you went through when we did the actual connection and healing part.
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting for me because anytime any major shift is going to happen for me, I need to start making this connection more, is that like 2 weeks or a week before, I will get really, really depressed. And I feel like that's because that's the negative energy not wanting to leave. So it tries to stick to me harder. So then when we did the session, or when we were leading up to it, I had to really like get myself back into like a medium ground of thinking before I could accept this energy. So I did have to do some self-work before our session just to really open myself up to receiving it. And then getting into the session, I felt really good. I was like, okay, I think this is meant for me. Like, I'm supposed to have this session, so I'm just going to accept everything that comes. And then laying there and with the beautiful music that you had sent me, love it, by the way. That track.
That's Milan. That's a new friend of mine that I actually, she added me on Facebook. I'm very blessed and lucky. But Milan, the music that we listen to, she actually transmits tones and vocals from the other side, and it comes through her, and she sings. That's what that is. So.
And it's beautiful. Like, you can truly feel it. So I felt that music really set the tone for us, and I was able to relax, close my eyes, and as the session went on, I could feel like, what was I saying? So it's like people, like they tie to you, like their energy and like all your experiences with them. I felt like they were all just tied to me. And when you started going in and doing the healing, I could feel like, I use the word zapping, like it was like a little zap gun. You were zapping those ties away, and they were just like breaking off, like goodbye, like I don't need that anymore, which was beautiful because I felt like it was not only healing me, but them too. Like, I feel like we shouldn't have that negative attachment to each other if that's what was in the past. Like, it should just be left there. So it was really like, yeah, it gave me that light feeling of like just releasing those layers. So instead of working like inward, like I've been doing, I now needed to add this piece of almost working outward. Like, I know it's still inner work, but it felt like it was outward, like taking things out, which I was the piece that I was maybe missing when I've been doing my self-healing. So it's really interesting to like get different points of view and different mediums and different healings. And yeah, anyway, so as we were going along, I could just feel those releasing, and that was wonderful. And near like the middle or the end of the session, I could feel my crown chakra like really opening up, and like you became giant, like you were just a big being, like helping the light flow through me, like through my crown chakra and into every part of my body. It was interesting. Yeah.
And that's absolutely beautiful. I know, because sometimes when I'm sitting here at home, you know, when I'm allowing the light, because it's almost like an eye. There's an eye on your hand here, and then the light comes from your fingers as well. So when I'm doing these healings, and I've been doing this for a year and a half, I've gotten a lot stronger from when I first started. Obviously, sometimes my hands actually start to close, and I have to force them and keep them open because there's so much light that comes out of my hands when I'm connecting to this higher frequency. of energy. Actually, you'll be taking my next class, Divine Light Energy, and I teach the higher frequencies of energy that we can all use to heal. So going through that experience, would you call that life-changing for you?
Like for me, it was definitely life-changing. I know after our session when we tried to chat a little bit about how it went, I was just like almost high off energy, like I couldn't even speak. And
Yeah,
I apologized to you. I was like, I don't even know what to tell you about how that went right now because I'm just like high on life right now.
yeah.
Almost, you know what I mean? So it was quite life-changing for me.
For that
Um,
experience, because you're someone who has done, like myself, I spent my whole life on healing my life, healing myself, all outside work in many, many ways. And, you yourself, you're the same. You've been doing this healing work for a long time now. And this has just been something that's been new and different for you, in a form of healing.
yeah, like definitely for sure because I learned that I'm an empath. So when I'm around people who have um, anxiety or depression, I tend to carry that on myself as well.
Mm,
So that's where those ties come in, where I'm constantly holding on to everyone's pain and
yeah,
I'm not able to release that pain.
yeah,
So it was just amazing to see that you could do it in such a short session to help me release many layers. Obviously, there's going to be more, like we're always healing, we're always evolving and learning, but
yeah,
to get that like jump start on, hey, I need to disconnect from my past so that I can be on the right path for my future, which was
yeah.
amazing.
And by disconnecting, what's the best way for us to do that is by healing it. We need to heal our past because we can't just sweep things under the rug and expect them to get better because as well, we need to face, our past. So after going through that experience and then moving forward, because it's been how long for us now? 8 days or so since
Yeah.
we had our session. How has your life been since that session in the
Yeah, like it
transformation within things for you?
for sure. Yeah, I feel so much lighter and just not bothered by the little things. Like I know for me with my depression, like every little thing that goes wrong, I could drop my cup of tea in the morning and it would just be like, oh, my whole day is ruined. Um, Whereas now it's just like, oh, I dropped my cup of tea. That's pretty funny. Like, I better make a new one. So it's like
Hmm.
being able to just not feel like so much anger and like depression over the things that really aren't that important. Like, there's such a bigger picture that we need to be a part of.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can't connect to it if we're just stuck in our own thoughts and stuck in our old ways of doing things. So I just needed that push to get back on track and be like, hey, you got this. And like
Yeah.
you're here for a reason. Believe
And
it.
you said as well that you were even driving and got lost, and that's a big
Yeah,
thing for you.
yeah, I was driving to a
So,
friend's house and I know exactly where she lives. However, I'm not familiar with the area, so I know how to get
yeah,
there like one or two ways.
yeah.
But they had done a whole bunch of construction and the roads had changed, and all of a sudden I was on Deerfoot and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And usually when that happens and I'm driving, I panic and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to find where I am, blah, blah, blah. But this time I was able to stay calm. I was like, well, you're going straight. There's nowhere else to go. Keep going straight. And until you can turn off and find out where you are, like, I was just calm. It's
Yeah.
like I could feel the anxiety in me, but it was almost being like suppressed or just like blocked by something else, being like, no, you got this. You have the skills to drive. You have the skills to think. You can do this. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yes, and I love hearing that because I can't recall if it was you or not. It takes over. It's our subconscious mind. It starts taking over to process the energy, because beforehand we didn't understand how to process that energy on our own. And because I've removed the other attachments that were a part of you, you now have full control over your thoughts, feelings, and emotions where we didn't before. Because look at your anxiety, and how about your depression now since? Like, how have you felt about the depression?
Like the depression has been a lot better. I like went to a state of thinking of I needed to self-harm again. And then I think that was the main reason I decided to put my name down for this draw was because I haven't felt that way in quite some time and I didn't know where these feelings were coming from. And so after the session, I'm feeling lighter. I was like, wow, I can't even believe those thoughts crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So it really helps like help me see the bigger picture of like those are just thoughts. You don't need to give them attention. You don't need to, like they're not you. They're just
Yeah.
passing by, so let them go.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest things with this one session that I hold, is to give people control over their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, not believing the false beliefs that they've always believed, that they would identify with, and then giving them that freedom to now know you are not your thoughts. You are not the being or person that, through your personal experiences of pain and suffering in the past, you're not that anymore. And it's that realization that kind of kicks in, and then having that, the power over our mind to have that moving forward. It changed my life instantly on not, suffering within my mind anymore. So it's beautiful to hear that for you as well, to
Yeah.
have that. So is there anything that there's people that are watching my videos all the time from time to time, and is there anything for those people who are doubting on even reaching out to me that you could say to them as to where you were before you had the session, and possibly doubting, with what I'm able to do? Is there anything that
Yeah, I'm one of those people who have always like thought I needed to get through things on my own. I need to figure it out on my own. And I slowly started to learn that it's okay to reach out to people who authentically want to help. I know it can be tricky like to find sometimes because
mm,
a lot of people might do it for the wrong reasons. So it's just interesting that like you can change if you want to. Like I feel like you do need to want it a little bit. So if you are skeptical, but you still have that like, hey, maybe it could work, I would say try it.
mm-hmm.
And if it's worth being happy, if it's worth changing the way you think, I think you should definitely try it.
Yeah.
And like reaching out to different people, like you never know, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be able to really dig in and get those, like you said, layers out. And I found that you were really able to do that in a short period of time. And it was authentic. It wasn't like it was a prize. You didn't want anything in return other than to heal. And that's so beautiful. And which is
Mm-hmm.
why I agreed to do this video because you said it could help somebody. And I said, hey, it could. Like, maybe someone
Yeah.
sitting in their room like me being like, I can't do that. Like, I can't go on video, but
Yeah.
you can. You just have to believe and have to be willing to accept that help.
Yeah. Definitely being open. They just need to be open. Sorry, or
Hmm.
sarcasm, not sarcasm. Uh, when people don't believe is one thing, but as long as they're open to the possibility and just coming to me with openness of being like, you know what, I'll try it. I'll try anything. And that's all they need. They just need to be open. That's it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So,
take much to feel the difference. I mean, I feel things more than I see things, so I really felt the shift within myself and within the world around me, even the way people are treating me now. Like I'm getting the respect that I've always deserved, which is awesome because I've always expected it because I give respect,
yeah.
but I guess I never believed that I deserved it.
And
So
that's
it's
the
really
thing.
changing the beliefs system, like
Yes, yes. It's really embracing who you are, knowing your worthiness now, knowing you're not the person you used to identify yourself as within your mind, and knowing you are this being of light within your body that is a very beautiful being, and it's now moving past where you were in before the session, right? So awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing today. And
well, thank you so much for sharing your gift and sharing this with me. Like I feel truly blessed and happy to be a part of it.
yeah, and as I was just as happy to be a part of your life in healing your life, to be a part of that journey, I'm extremely grateful for as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, so if anyone out there is watching this video and you know someone who is suffering, specifically even with this one with anxiety or depression, shoot off this video even to their inbox, because it can make a massive impact in their life if they do reach out for me with my gifts, with what I'm able to do. And that is why I'm here alive. After a dozen suicide attempts, I'm still here. And that is because this is the work that I am doing, to connect with people. So thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for the people who tuned in and for those who shared.
Thank
Have a
you.
great Have a great day.